In the ancient land of Ammon, nestled between the rolling hills and the vast expanses of the desert, Naamah was born into a family of significance. Her father was a respected leader, known for his wisdom and bravery in battle, while her mother held a revered position in their community, celebrated for her healing abilities and knowledge of herbal remedies. From a young age, Naamah was steeped in the rich traditions of her people, learning the stories of her ancestors and the values that defined their culture. As she grew, Naamah's beauty blossomed alongside her intellect. She was not only a sight to behold with her flowing dark hair and striking features, but she was also curious and eager to learn. Naamah spent countless hours in the village library, poring over scrolls filled with tales of heroism, philosophy, and the arts. The stories resonated deeply with her, especially those that spoke of powerful women who influenced the course of history. Naamah was particularly fond of the tales of queens and warriors who balanced strength with compassion. These stories ignited a fire within her, inspiring her to dream of a future where she could make a difference. The vibrant culture of her kingdom shaped her, and she often participated in community gatherings where music, dance, and storytelling were celebrated. Her voice rang clear as she sang traditional songs, and her laughter echoed through the village, drawing people to her. Despite her idyllic upbringing, Naamah was acutely aware of the challenges faced by her people. The kingdom of Ammon was often at odds with neighboring territories, and the specter of conflict loomed over the land. From a young age, she witnessed the struggles of the common folk, their hardships, their hopes, and their dreams. This awareness instilled a sense of responsibility in her heart, a desire to advocate for those who could not speak for themselves. As Naamah approached adulthood, the expectations of her status began to weigh on her. The village elders spoke of marriage, and suitors from various kingdoms sought her hand, each eager to win the favor of her noble family. Yet, Naamah was not interested in a union that would bind her to a life of complacency. She yearned for something more, a love that transcended politics, a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ideals. It was during this time of uncertainty that fate intervened. On a warm summer evening, a grand festival was announced to celebrate the harvest. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the fields, the village came alive with excitement. Colorful tents were erected, and the aroma of roasted meats and baked bread filled the air. Naamah, dressed in a flowing gown adorned with intricate patterns, felt a flutter of anticipation in her heart. Little did she know that this festival would alter the course of her life forever. The festival was a dazzling display of culture and camaraderie. Laughter and music intertwined as villagers danced joyfully, celebrating the fruits of their labor. Naamah moved gracefully through the crowd, her eyes sparkling with delight as she greeted friends and family. But amidst the revelry, she felt a sense of yearning for something more profound, a connection that transcended the festivities. It was then that she spotted him, King Solomon of Israel, a figure renowned for his wisdom and unmatched charisma. He stood tall, adorned in royal garments that gleamed in the lantern light, exuding an aura of confidence that drew people to him like moths to a flame. Naamah's heart raced as their eyes met across the crowded courtyard, a moment that seemed to suspend time itself. The world around her faded, and in that instant, she felt an inexplicable bond forming between them. As the evening progressed, their paths converged. Solomon approached Naamah, and they exchanged greetings filled with warmth and intrigue. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, filled with laughter and shared dreams. Naamah found herself captivated by Solomon's tales of his kingdom, his aspirations for peace, and his desire to lead with justice. It was evident that he possessed a depth of understanding that resonated with her own values. Naamah, in turn, shared her passion for the arts and her commitment to her people. She spoke eloquently about the importance of compassion and unity, igniting a spark of admiration in Solomon's heart. As they conversed, the chemistry between them grew palpable, a magnetic force that seemed to draw them closer together. The evening culminated in a dance beneath the stars, where their souls intertwined in a celebration of life and love. Naamah felt as though she had found a kindred spirit, someone who understood her dreams and aspirations. As the music swelled, they danced with abandon, lost in a world of their own creation. The moonlight illuminated their connection, casting a glow that enveloped them in warmth. As the festival drew to a close, Solomon took Naamah's hand in his, promising to return to Ammon soon. Their hearts were full of hope and anticipation, knowing that their encounter marked the beginning of a transformative journey. Little did they know that their love would transcend borders and reshape the destinies of their kingdoms. The days following the festival were filled with anticipation and longing. Naamah found herself daydreaming about Solomon, replaying their conversations in her mind. Each moment they had shared felt etched in her heart, a beautiful memory that she cherished. Meanwhile, news of their meeting spread like wildfire throughout both kingdoms, igniting excitement and curiosity among the people. As weeks turned into months, Solomon returned to Ammon as promised. He arrived with a retinue of dignitaries and gifts, his presence commanding respect and admiration. The village welcomed him with open arms, celebrating the union of their two kingdoms. Naamah felt a surge of joy as she stood by his side, knowing that their love had the potential to bring about lasting change. In the days that followed, Solomon and Naamah spent countless hours together, deepening their bond. They explored the lush landscapes of Ammon, visiting markets filled with vibrant fabrics and spices. Naamah introduced Solomon to her family and friends, sharing the rich culture that had shaped her identity. Solomon, in turn, regaled her with tales of his kingdom, his wisdom echoing through the valleys. As their love flourished, the idea of marriage became inevitable. Solomon understood the significance of their union, not just as a personal commitment, but as a political alliance that would strengthen ties between their kingdoms. He proposed to Naamah beneath the ancient olive tree, a symbol of peace and prosperity. With tears of joy in her eyes, she accepted his proposal, knowing that their love would transcend borders and bring hope to their people. The wedding was a grand affair, filled with laughter, joy, and vibrant celebrations. Guests from both kingdoms gathered to witness the union of their beloved queen and the wise king. The ceremony was adorned with flowers and rich tapestries, reflecting the beauty of their cultures. As they exchanged vows, Naamah felt a profound sense of purpose, knowing that their commitment was not just to each other, but to the people they would serve together. With their union solidified, Naamah and Solomon embarked on a journey to create a legacy of peace and prosperity. They envisioned a kingdom where love and understanding reigned, where differences were celebrated rather than feared. Their love became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to embrace unity amidst diversity. As Naamah settled into her role as queen, she embraced the responsibilities that came with it. Solomon recognized her intelligence and insight, often seeking her counsel on matters of governance. Naamah became a trusted advisor, her voice resonating in the royal court. The respect she garnered from both the people and the nobility was a testament to her dedication and wisdom. Naamah championed the causes of the marginalized, advocating for those whose voices often went unheard. She believed that a ruler's strength lay in their ability to uplift the vulnerable, and she worked tirelessly to implement policies that promoted social justice. Her efforts were met with challenges, but Naamah faced them with unwavering determination, drawing strength from her love for Solomon and her commitment to their shared vision. The court became a hub of creativity and progress under Naamah's influence. She organized gatherings where artists, musicians, and scholars could share their talents and ideas. The vibrant tapestry of cultures began to flourish, and the kingdom thrived as a center of innovation and collaboration. Naamah's passion for the arts and education inspired the people to embrace their identities and celebrate their heritage. As the seasons changed, so did Naamah's understanding of leadership. She learned to navigate the complexities of royal life, balancing her responsibilities as a queen with her desire to connect with the common folk. Naamah frequently visited villages, listening to the concerns of her people and working alongside them to find solutions to their challenges. Her approachability endeared her to the masses, and they regarded her not just as a queen, but as a compassionate leader. However, the weight of her responsibilities began to take its toll. Naamah often found herself torn between her duties and her desire for personal fulfillment. While she was dedicated to her role, she yearned for moments of solitude and reflection. To find balance, she sought solace in the gardens of the palace, where she would spend hours tending to the flowers and contemplating her dreams. One afternoon, as she pruned the roses, Naamah encountered a group of children playing nearby. Their laughter filled the air, and she felt a sense of joy wash over her. Inspired, she decided to establish a community center where children could gather to learn and play. The initiative was met with enthusiasm, and soon the center became a hub for creativity and friendship. Through her work, Naamah discovered that her role as queen extended beyond the throne. It was about fostering connections, nurturing dreams, and empowering her people to embrace their potential. She understood that true leadership was not merely about authority, but about inspiring others to rise together. Years passed, and Naamah experienced the joy of motherhood when she gave birth to a son, Rehoboam. The moment she held him in her arms, she felt a wave of love and responsibility wash over her. Rehoboam was not only the heir to the throne, but also a symbol of hope for the future, a future that Naamah envisioned with compassion and understanding. Naamah dedicated herself to nurturing her son, instilling in him the values that had shaped her own life. She often shared stories of their ancestors, emphasizing the importance of empathy, justice, and the strength found in unity. Rehoboam listened intently, his wide eyes filled with wonder as she recounted tales of brave leaders and resilient people. As he grew, Naamah encouraged Rehoboam to explore the world around him. She took him on walks through the palace gardens, where they would observe the beauty of nature and the interconnectedness of life. Naamah believed that fostering a sense of curiosity was essential for his development. She encouraged him to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and seek knowledge from various sources. In the evenings, Naamah would gather Rehoboam and the children of the village for storytelling sessions. They would sit around a crackling fire, their faces illuminated by the warm glow as she shared tales of heroism and adventure. The children were captivated by her words, their imaginations ignited by the stories of courage and hope. Naamah reveled in the joy of these moments, knowing that she was planting seeds of inspiration in their hearts. As Rehoboam reached his teenage years, Naamah recognized the importance of preparing him for the responsibilities that lay ahead. She invited wise scholars to the palace to teach him about governance, philosophy, and the art of diplomacy. Rehoboam absorbed the lessons eagerly, his inquisitive nature shining through as he engaged in discussions with the scholars. Naamah also emphasized the significance of humility and compassion. She often took Rehoboam to visit the villages, where they would listen to the concerns of the people. Naamah believed that true leadership was rooted in understanding the needs of the community, and she wanted her son to develop a sense of empathy that would guide him as a future king. The bond between mother and son grew stronger as they navigated the challenges of royal life together. Naamah found solace in Rehoboam's laughter, and she cherished the moments they spent together. She understood that her role as a mother extended beyond the walls of the palace. It was about shaping the values of the next generation. As Rehoboam approached adulthood, Naamah felt a mix of pride and anxiety. She was proud of the young man he was becoming, but she also understood the weight of the crown that awaited him. With a heart full of love, she continued to guide him, instilling in him the belief that he could lead with both strength and compassion. As the years unfolded, the kingdom of Ammon faced a series of challenges that tested the resilience of its leaders. The political landscape grew increasingly complex, with neighboring territories vying for power and influence. Trade routes became contested and tensions simmered beneath the surface. Naamah, ever attuned to the pulse of her people, sensed the unease that permeated the air. In the royal court, discussions grew heated as advisors debated the best course of action. Some advocated for military might, urging Solomon to assert dominance over rival kingdoms. Others, influenced by Naamah's wisdom, emphasized the importance of diplomacy and dialogue. Naamah found herself in the midst of these discussions, advocating for a peaceful resolution to the mounting tensions. However, her pleas were met with resistance. Many in the court were eager for action, believing that strength was the only path to security. Naamah understood their fears, but remained steadfast in her belief that true power lay in understanding and compassion. She sought to remind her fellow leaders that the people of Ammon had long valued their traditions of hospitality and negotiation. As the situation escalated, Naamah organized a series of gatherings to foster dialogue among the leaders of neighboring territories. She invited representatives from various kingdoms to the palace, creating a space for open discussions. The gatherings became a platform for addressing grievances and exploring common ground. Naamah believed that by fostering relationships based on trust, they could prevent conflict and promote cooperation. Despite her efforts, tensions continued to rise. Naamah felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down upon her, and she often turned to Solomon for support. They would spend long nights discussing strategies, weighing the pros and cons of various approaches. Naamah's heart ached as she saw the toll the situation took on her husband, a man who had once been filled with hope and vision. In the midst of the turmoil, Naamah found solace in her connection to the people. She often ventured into the villages, listening to the concerns of her fellow citizens. Their stories of fear and uncertainty resonated deeply with her, fueling her determination to find a peaceful resolution. Naamah understood that the kingdom's strength lay not in military might, but in the resilience of its people. As tensions reached a boiling point, a council of war was called in the royal court. Naamah attended, her heart heavy as she prepared to confront the reality of the situation. The atmosphere was charged with urgency, and voices filled the room as advisors presented their arguments for military action. Naamah took a deep breath, knowing that this was her moment to speak. With conviction in her voice, she addressed the council, urging them to consider the consequences of war. She spoke passionately about the importance of preserving life and fostering understanding. Her words echoed through the chamber, resonating with some while inciting anger in others. The debate raged on, but Naamah remained resolute, determined to advocate for peace. In the midst of the political turmoil, another challenge emerged that threatened to further divide the kingdom: the growing influence of foreign gods and practices. As trade routes expanded and interactions with neighboring cultures increased, some of the people began to adopt beliefs and rituals that clashed with the traditions of Ammon. Naamah watched with concern as the fabric of their society began to fray. The temple, once a symbol of unity and devotion, became a battleground for conflicting ideologies. Some citizens embraced the foreign gods, believing they offered new paths to prosperity and protection. Others clung tightly to their ancestral beliefs, viewing the new practices as a threat to their identity. The tension grew, and Naamah knew that she had to address the issue before it spiraled out of control. One evening, Naamah gathered her closest advisors to discuss the situation. As they sat around the table, she encouraged open dialogue, urging them to share their thoughts on how to approach the growing divide. The room buzzed with opinions and differing perspectives, but Naamah remained calm, guiding the conversation toward understanding. After much discussion, Naamah proposed a plan to bridge the gap between the two factions. She suggested organizing a festival that celebrated both the traditional beliefs of Ammon and the new influences. The festival would provide a platform for dialogue, fostering an environment where people could share their stories and experiences without fear of judgment. Naamah's vision was met with mixed reactions. Some advisors expressed skepticism, fearing that such an event would only exacerbate tensions. Yet others recognized the potential for unity and embraced her idea. With determination, Naamah set to work planning the festival, enlisting the support of local artists, musicians, and spiritual leaders from both sides. As the day of the festival approached, Naamah felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She had poured her heart and soul into the preparations, hoping that this gathering would be a turning point for their kingdom. On the day of the event, the sun rose with a warm glow, casting a golden light over the palace grounds. Colorful banners adorned the trees, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and music. People from all walks of life gathered, curious to witness the celebration. Naamah stood at the entrance, greeting guests with a warm smile as they arrived. The festival featured performances that showcased the rich traditions of Ammon alongside the new influences that had emerged. Storytellers shared tales of resilience, while musicians played melodies that resonated with both cultures. As the day unfolded, Naamah noticed something remarkable happening. People began to engage in conversations, sharing their experiences and finding common ground. The festival became a space for dialogue, where differences were acknowledged but not condemned. Naamah felt a surge of hope as she witnessed the power of connection and understanding. In the days that followed, the festival continued to resonate with the people. Naamah received messages of gratitude from citizens who had felt seen and heard during the event. The festival had created a ripple effect, inspiring discussions in homes and communities across the kingdom. Naamah realized that her efforts had borne fruit, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose as she worked to foster unity. Despite the initial success of the festival, Naamah found herself grappling with her own struggles of identity. As a queen, she was expected to embody the ideals of her new kingdom, yet she felt the weight of her Ammonite heritage pressing upon her. The expectations of the court often clashed with her desire to honor her roots, leaving her in a constant state of conflict. Naamah often found solace in the palace gardens, where she would sit beneath the shade of ancient trees, reflecting on her journey. The scent of blooming flowers filled the air, and the gentle rustle of leaves provided a soothing backdrop for her thoughts. She understood that her role as queen was not just about her own identity, but about representing the hopes and dreams of her people. In quiet moments, Naamah would recall her childhood in Ammon, where she had learned the values of compassion and community. She remembered the tales her mother had shared about their ancestors, the women who had wielded power with grace and intelligence. Those stories resonated deeply within her, reminding her of the strength that lay in embracing her heritage. As the pressures of royal life intensified, Naamah felt the urge to retreat into herself. The court's expectations weighed heavily on her, and she struggled to balance her responsibilities with her desire for authenticity. She yearned for moments where she could express her true self, free from the constraints of her title. To reclaim her sense of identity, Naamah sought to connect with the women of the kingdom, those who had long been overlooked in the annals of history. She organized gatherings where women could share their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. The meetings became a source of empowerment, allowing women to lift each other up and celebrate their unique contributions to society. Through these gatherings, Naamah discovered that her struggles were not unique. Many women faced similar challenges, navigating the complexities of identity while striving to fulfill their roles in a patriarchal society. The stories shared during these meetings resonated with her, and Naamah felt a sense of camaraderie that fueled her determination to advocate for women's rights. As Naamah continued to engage with the women of her kingdom, she recognized the importance of representation. She began to champion initiatives that promoted women's voices in governance and leadership. Her efforts sparked discussions in the royal court, challenging the status quo and encouraging a shift toward inclusivity. Through her journey, Naamah learned that embracing her identity was not about rejecting her role as queen, but about integrating her experiences into her leadership. She understood that her strength lay in her ability to bridge the gap between her heritage and her responsibilities, creating a legacy that honored both. With her newfound understanding of identity, Naamah's wisdom blossomed even further. She immersed herself in the study of both cultures, striving to find common ground between the traditions of Ammon and the practices of Israel. Her knowledge became a source of strength, and she often engaged Solomon in discussions about the importance of embracing diversity. Naamah believed that true leadership lay in understanding and accepting differences. She encouraged Solomon to seek counsel from advisors representing various backgrounds, recognizing that diverse perspectives could lead to more comprehensive solutions. Together, they explored ways to foster unity among their people. In the royal court, Naamah initiated a series of dialogues that brought together leaders from both cultures. These discussions focused on collaborative governance and the importance of recognizing the strengths each culture brought to the table. Naamah's insights resonated with many, and her ability to articulate complex ideas made her a respected figure among the advisors. As Naamah continued to advocate for inclusivity, she recognized the power of storytelling. She organized gatherings where storytellers from both kingdoms shared tales that highlighted their shared history. The narratives emphasized common values, reinforcing the notion that they were stronger together. During one such gathering, Naamah listened intently as an elder recounted a tale of two kingdoms that had once been united. The story spoke of challenges faced and overcome, of love that transcended borders. As the elder's voice filled the room, Naamah felt a surge of inspiration. She understood that stories had the power to heal divisions and foster understanding. In her own storytelling sessions, Naamah began to weave together narratives that celebrated the beauty of both cultures. She encouraged young people to embrace their heritage while recognizing the value of collaboration. Her passion for storytelling became a catalyst for change, inspiring a new generation to embrace unity. As the seasons changed, Naamah's influence grew. People from both kingdoms began to engage in conversations about their shared future. The walls that had once divided them began to crumble, replaced by a spirit of cooperation and understanding. Naamah's vision for a united kingdom was slowly becoming a reality. One fateful morning, as the sun cast a golden hue over the land, a prophet arrived at the royal court. His presence commanded attention, and whispers of his arrival spread like wildfire. Naamah felt a sense of foreboding wash over her as the prophet approached Solomon, his face etched with urgency. The court fell silent as the prophet delivered his message, a grave warning of impending doom if the king continued to stray from the path of righteousness. Naamah listened intently, her heart heavy with concern. She recognized the truth in the prophet's words, understanding that the choices made in the palace had far-reaching consequences for the kingdom. After the prophet departed, Naamah sought an audience with Solomon. She knew that this was a pivotal moment, one that could shape the future of their realm. With a mixture of urgency and love, she expressed her fears, urging him to reconsider his actions and return to the faith that had once guided their ancestors. Solomon, caught in the web of political ambitions, struggled to accept the weight of the prophet's warning. He had become entangled in the allure of power, and doubt began to creep into his heart. Naamah, sensing his turmoil, stood by his side, offering unwavering support. She reminded him of the strength that lay in humility and the importance of listening to the voices of wisdom around him. In the days that followed, Naamah took it upon herself to reignite the flame of faith within the court. She organized gatherings where spiritual leaders could share their insights, reminding the people of the values that had once united them. The gatherings became a sanctuary of hope, where prayers were offered and the community came together in solidarity. Despite her efforts, Naamah felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down upon her. She understood that the path ahead would not be easy, and she resolved to remain steadfast in her commitment to her family and her kingdom. With each passing day, her determination grew stronger, fueled by love for Solomon and their shared vision for a united future. As the kingdom faced trials, Naamah continued to advocate for compassion and understanding, believing that the true strength of a leader lay in their ability to listen to the voices of their people. Her unwavering faith became a guiding light, illuminating the path toward reconciliation and healing. As the kingdom grappled with internal strife and external threats, Naamah recognized that the greatest challenge lay ahead. The tensions that had simmered beneath the surface began to boil over, and factions within the court grew increasingly divided. Naamah felt a sense of urgency, knowing that the choices made during this critical juncture would determine the fate of their realm. Determined to confront the challenges head-on, Naamah organized a council that brought together representatives from both kingdoms. She believed that open dialogue was essential to finding a resolution. The council convened in the grand hall of the palace, where the air was thick with tension. As the discussions unfolded, Naamah encouraged each representative to voice their concerns. She listened intently, allowing the frustrations and fears of the people to be heard. The room buzzed with emotions, and Naamah felt the weight of responsibility bearing down upon her. She knew that her role as queen was not just to govern, but to serve as a bridge between her people. During one particularly heated exchange, tempers flared and voices rose in anger. Naamah remained calm, reminding everyone of the shared vision they had once embraced. She emphasized the importance of unity and understanding, urging them to remember the ties that bound them together. With each passing hour, the discussions grew more intense. Naamah found herself navigating a complex web of emotions, seeking to find common ground amid the chaos. She understood that the path to resolution would require patience and empathy. Drawing upon her own experiences, she shared stories of times when collaboration had triumphed over conflict. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the council chamber, Naamah felt a shift in the atmosphere. The representatives began to engage in meaningful conversations, seeking to understand one another rather than merely defending their positions. Naamah's heart swelled with hope as she witnessed the power of dialogue to bridge divides. In the days that followed, the council continued to meet, slowly forging a path toward reconciliation. Naamah became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to embrace the values of compassion and empathy. She understood that the journey ahead would not be easy, but she remained committed to fostering unity among her people. The challenge was far from over, and Naamah knew that the road ahead would be fraught with obstacles. Yet, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, fueled by the belief that love and understanding could triumph over adversity. With each step forward, Naamah embraced her role as a leader, determined to guide her kingdom toward a brighter future. As the kingdom continued to grapple with internal strife, Naamah found herself facing a trial of her own. The challenges that had once seemed surmountable now loomed large, and the weight of leadership pressed heavily upon her shoulders. Naamah felt as though she were walking a tightrope, balancing the needs of her people with the desire for peace. In the midst of this turmoil, a series of natural disasters struck the kingdom. Droughts, floods, and pestilence swept through the land, leaving devastation in their wake. The people grew restless, their fears and frustrations mounting as they faced hardships that tested their resilience. Naamah understood that the trials they faced were not only physical, but also spiritual. With the kingdom on the brink of despair, Naamah called for a gathering at the temple, inviting the people to come together in prayer and reflection. She believed that in times of crisis, the strength of their community would be tested. The temple, once a place of worship, became a sanctuary for hope and healing. As the gathering commenced, Naamah addressed the crowd, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. She spoke of the importance of unity and faith, urging the people to support one another during these trying times. Her words resonated deeply, igniting a spark of hope among the weary souls. The gathering became a space for sharing stories of resilience, where individuals spoke of their struggles and triumphs. Naamah listened intently, her heart swelling with compassion as she witnessed the strength of the human spirit. She understood that each story was a testament to the power of community and the bonds that held them together. Realizing that the challenges they faced were not insurmountable, Naamah proposed a plan to address the needs of the people. She organized relief efforts to provide food and resources to those affected by the disasters. With the support of Solomon and the royal court, Naamah rallied volunteers to assist in the distribution of aid. Together, they worked tirelessly, traveling to villages and towns, bringing hope and sustenance to those in need. Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed the impact of their efforts, the gratitude reflected in the eyes of the people. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, compassion could light the way forward. As the trials continued, Naamah's resilience shone brightly. She became a source of inspiration for her people, embodying the strength that lay in unity. Through her unwavering dedication, she reminded them that they were not alone. Together, they could weather any storm. Through determination and unwavering faith, Naamah emerged victorious in the face of adversity. The relief efforts had brought the kingdom together, fostering a sense of camaraderie that transcended the challenges they faced. As the seasons changed, the land began to heal, and the people felt a renewed sense of hope. Naamah's leadership had been instrumental in restoring faith among the citizens. The gatherings at the temple became a cherished tradition, where people came together to celebrate their resilience and share their gratitude. Naamah reveled in the joy of these moments, knowing that the bond they had forged would carry them through future challenges. With each passing day, Naamah witnessed the transformation of her kingdom. The once divided factions began to unite, working collaboratively to rebuild what had been lost. Solomon, inspired by Naamah's unwavering commitment, joined her in promoting initiatives that emphasized compassion and understanding. The royal court became a hub of creativity and innovation, where ideas flowed freely and diverse perspectives were celebrated. Naamah encouraged artists, scholars, and leaders to collaborate on projects that would uplift the kingdom. Together, they envisioned a future where love and understanding reigned. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Naamah and Solomon stood on the palace balcony, gazing at the vibrant tapestry of their kingdom. The laughter of children echoed in the distance, and the scent of blooming flowers filled the air. Naamah felt a surge of gratitude as she reflected on the journey they had undertaken. In that moment, Naamah understood that their love had been the catalyst for change. It had inspired others to embrace unity, to look beyond their differences, and to work toward a common goal. Together, they had forged a legacy that would endure for generations to come. As the kingdom flourished, Naamah continued to advocate for social justice and equality. She recognized the importance of uplifting marginalized voices and ensuring that everyone had a seat at the table. Her efforts resonated with the people, and she became a symbol of hope and resilience. The victory they had achieved was not just in overcoming adversity, but in fostering a culture of compassion that would define their kingdom. Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that their journey had brought about positive change, and she remained committed to nurturing that legacy. As the dust settled from the trials they had faced, Naamah understood that the true lesson lay in the journey itself. She had learned that love requires courage, and sometimes it demands standing firm in one's beliefs. The experiences had taught her the importance of open communication and the need for leaders to listen to the voices of their people. Naamah reflected on the moments of doubt and uncertainty, recognizing that they had shaped her into a stronger leader. She understood that leadership was not about wielding power, but about serving others and empowering them to rise. The challenges she had faced had revealed the depth of her character and the strength of her convictions. With this newfound wisdom, Naamah sought to share her lessons with others. She organized gatherings where she spoke openly about the importance of resilience, compassion, and unity. The gatherings became a space for dialogue, where individuals could share their experiences and learn from one another. During one such gathering, Naamah recounted the trials they had faced as a kingdom. She spoke of the moments of despair that had threatened to tear them apart, but also of the moments of triumph that had brought them together. Her words resonated deeply with those gathered, inspiring them to embrace their own journeys. As the discussions unfolded, Naamah encouraged individuals to share their stories of resilience. The room buzzed with energy as people spoke openly about their struggles and triumphs. Naamah felt a sense of joy as she witnessed the power of connection and the strength that came from vulnerability. Through these gatherings, Naamah realized that her lessons were not just her own. They belonged to the collective spirit of the kingdom. Each person's story contributed to the tapestry of their shared history, and together they could create a future rooted in compassion and understanding. As the seasons changed, Naamah continued to advocate for her people, championing initiatives that promoted inclusivity and social justice. Her dedication to fostering unity became a guiding principle for others, inspiring them to embrace their roles as advocates for change. In her heart, Naamah knew that the lessons learned from their journey would endure long after she was gone. She had woven a legacy of love and resilience that would transcend generations, reminding her people that even in the face of adversity, they could rise together. In the aftermath of their victories, Naamah sought solace by the shimmering lake at the edge of the kingdom. The tranquil waters reflected the beauty of the surrounding landscape, and as she sat by the shore, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The lake became a sanctuary where she could reflect on her journey and the lessons learned. As she gazed into the depths of the lake, Naamah marveled at the interconnectedness of nature. The gentle ripples danced across the surface, mirroring the ebb and flow of life. It was here that she often brought Rehoboam, teaching him the significance of nature and the wisdom it held. One day, as they sat by the lake, Rehoboam turned to his mother with a curious expression. "Mother, what is the most important lesson you've learned in your journey as queen?" he asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Naamah smiled, her heart swelling with pride as she looked at her son. The most important lesson, my dear, is that true strength lies in compassion. It is our ability to understand one another that fosters unity and brings about change. Rehoboam listened intently, absorbing his mother's words. Naamah continued, "Throughout my journey, I have witnessed the power of love and understanding. When we open our hearts to others, we create a bond that transcends differences." As they sat in silence, Naamah reflected on the challenges they had faced and the victories they had achieved. The lake served as a reminder that, like the waters, life was ever-changing, filled with both calm and turbulence. She understood that embracing these fluctuations was essential for growth. In the days that followed, Naamah organized gatherings by the lake, inviting the people to come together in celebration of their unity. The gatherings became a cherished tradition where families would share stories, music, and laughter. The shimmering lake became a symbol of hope and resilience, reflecting the spirit of the kingdom. Through these gatherings, Naamah fostered a sense of community among the people. She encouraged them to connect with nature, to find solace in its beauty, and to draw strength from their shared experiences. The lake became a place of healing, where individuals could come together to support one another and celebrate their journeys. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the lake, Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment. She understood that her role as queen extended beyond the palace walls. It was about nurturing connections, empowering her people, and fostering a culture of compassion. One sunny afternoon, as Naamah sat by the shimmering lake, she encountered others who had also sought refuge in its tranquility. Families gathered to picnic, children played by the water's edge, and laughter filled the air. Naamah felt a sense of belonging among them, a reminder that their shared experiences connected them all. As she mingled with the families, Naamah listened to their stories, tales of struggle, resilience, and joy. Each family brought with them their own unique experiences, and Naamah felt a deep sense of connection to them all. She was reminded that while her role as queen often placed her in a position of authority, it was these everyday moments that truly grounded her. One family in particular caught her attention. They were a modest group, their clothes simple yet clean, and their laughter infectious. The mother, a woman with bright eyes and a warm smile, approached Naamah, her hands full of freshly baked bread. "Your Majesty," she said, her voice filled with admiration, "we are grateful for your leadership. Our village has never felt more united." Naamah smiled, touched by the woman's words. "Thank you. It is the strength of our community that makes our kingdom thrive," she replied. Encouraged by the warmth of the encounter, Naamah invited the family to sit with her by the lake. As they shared the bread, laughter and stories flowed freely. The mother spoke of her children and their dreams, of the challenges they faced in the village, and of the hope she held for their future. Naamah listened intently, recognizing the importance of nurturing these connections. She understood that each voice mattered in the tapestry of their kingdom, and she was committed to ensuring that everyone felt heard. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the lake, Naamah felt inspired. She decided to organize regular gatherings at the lake, inviting families from all over the kingdom to come and share their stories. The meetings would be a space for open dialogue, where laughter could echo alongside the serious discussions of their lives. In the days that followed, Naamah began to spread the word about the upcoming gatherings. She shared her vision with the royal court, emphasizing the importance of community and connection. Some advisors were skeptical, questioning whether such gatherings would truly foster unity. However, Naamah remained resolute, believing that the strength of their kingdom lay in the bonds they forged. On the day of the first gathering, the lake was alive with activity. Families arrived with blankets, baskets filled with food, and their hearts open to one another. Naamah greeted each family with a smile, her spirit buoyed by the sense of camaraderie that filled the air. Children laughed and played, while adults shared stories and experiences that brought them closer together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Naamah stood before the gathering, her heart swelling with pride. "Today, we celebrate our unity," she proclaimed, her voice carrying across the lake. "We are all threads in the tapestry of our kingdom, and together we create something beautiful." The crowd erupted in applause, and Naamah felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She understood that these gatherings were more than just social events. They were a manifestation of the love and compassion that defined their kingdom. With each story shared, the bonds between individuals deepened, and a sense of belonging enveloped them all. Inspired by the success of the gatherings, Naamah decided to organize a grand festival that would celebrate the vibrant cultures of both Ammon and Israel. The festival would showcase the arts, music, and traditions of their people, fostering a sense of pride and unity among all attendees. Naamah envisioned a day filled with joy, laughter, and the spirit of collaboration. As preparations for the festival commenced, excitement buzzed in the air. Naamah enlisted the help of local artisans, musicians, and performers, encouraging them to showcase their talents. Colorful banners adorned the streets, and the aroma of delicious food wafted through the air, drawing people from far and wide. The day of the festival arrived, and the entire kingdom seemed to come alive. Families gathered in droves, their faces beaming with anticipation. Naamah stood at the entrance, welcoming guests with open arms, her heart filled with joy at the sight of her people coming together. Throughout the day, the festival featured a myriad of activities. Musicians played enchanting melodies, and dancers performed lively routines that showcased the rich cultural heritage of both kingdoms. Children laughed as they participated in games and contests, their spirits soaring with excitement. Naamah moved among the crowd, engaging with families and sharing in their joy. As evening approached, Naamah took to the stage to address the gathering. The sun set in a breathtaking display of colors, casting a warm glow over the festivities. "Tonight, we celebrate not only our differences but also our shared dreams," she declared, her voice resonating with passion. "Together, we can build a brighter future for our kingdoms, one rooted in understanding and compassion." The crowd erupted in cheers, and Naamah felt a surge of hope as she witnessed the spirit of unity among her people. The festival continued into the night, filled with laughter, music, and celebration. Naamah knew that this moment would be etched in their hearts forever, a testament to the power of love and collaboration. As the festival drew to a close, a sense of fulfillment washed over Naamah. She understood that the bonds forged during this event would endure, inspiring future generations to embrace their identities while celebrating their shared humanity. The festival became a cherished tradition, a reminder that unity in diversity was the foundation of their strength. As Naamah returned to the palace after the festival, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The success of the event had invigorated her spirit, and she was determined to continue fostering connections among her people. She knew that the journey toward unity was ongoing, and she was committed to nurturing the relationships that had blossomed during the festival. In the days that followed, Naamah and Solomon worked together to implement initiatives that would promote inclusivity throughout the kingdom. They established community centers where people could come together to share ideas, learn from one another, and engage in discussions about governance and social justice. Naamah believed that by empowering the voices of the people, they could create a more equitable society. The community centers quickly became hubs of activity, where individuals from all backgrounds gathered to collaborate on projects that addressed the needs of their communities. Naamah was inspired by the creativity and innovation that emerged from these gatherings. People began to share their talents, whether through art, music, or storytelling, enriching the cultural tapestry of the kingdom. As the seasons changed, Naamah continued to visit the community centers, engaging with the people and listening to their stories. She recognized that each individual had a unique perspective, and she sought to amplify their voices in the royal court. Her dedication to fostering connections among her people became a cornerstone of her leadership, and she was determined to create a legacy of compassion and understanding. One day, as Naamah walked through the bustling marketplace, she encountered a group of children gathered around a storyteller. Their faces were filled with wonder as they listened to tales of bravery and adventure. Naamah felt a sense of nostalgia as she recalled her own childhood, when stories had ignited her imagination and inspired her dreams. Inspired by the moment, Naamah decided to establish a storytelling festival, inviting individuals from all walks of life to share their narratives. She believed that storytelling had the power to bridge divides, fostering empathy and understanding among diverse communities. The festival would celebrate the richness of their collective heritage while honoring the unique experiences of each individual. With the support of Solomon and the royal court, Naamah began organizing the storytelling festival. The event would feature performers, poets, and speakers who could share their stories, creating a space for dialogue and connection. As the festival date approached, excitement buzzed in the air, and Naamah felt a sense of anticipation as she envisioned the impact of the event. On the day of the festival, the palace grounds were transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors and sounds. Families gathered, eager to partake in the celebrations. Naamah stood at the entrance, her heart swelling with pride as she welcomed each guest. The festival became a celebration of their shared humanity, where stories of resilience and hope echoed through the air. As the storytelling festival unfolded, Naamah felt a sense of joy and fulfillment unlike any she had experienced before. The voices of the people resonated through the air, each story adding a new thread to the tapestry of their shared history. Naamah moved among the attendees, listening intently to the narratives being shared, her heart swelling with pride at the diversity of experiences. One storyteller, an elderly woman with a weathered face and a twinkle in her eye, captivated the crowd with her tale of survival during a time of hardship. Her words painted vivid images of resilience, and Naamah could see the impact her story had on those gathered. Tears mingled with laughter as the audience connected with the emotions conveyed through the narrative. As the festival progressed, Naamah noticed a shift in the atmosphere. The walls that had once divided the people began to crumble, replaced by an overwhelming sense of togetherness. Individuals from different backgrounds engaged in conversations, sharing their own stories and finding common ground. The festival became a celebration of their shared humanity and a testament to the power of connection. Naamah felt a surge of hope as she witnessed the transformation taking place. The storytelling festival had fostered an environment of empathy and understanding, allowing individuals to embrace their differences while recognizing the strength that lay in unity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Naamah took to the stage to address the crowd. "Today we have celebrated our stories, our struggles and our triumphs," she proclaimed, her voice filled with emotion. "Let us carry the lessons learned here today into our daily lives. Together we can build a kingdom rooted in compassion and understanding, where every voice is heard and valued." The crowd erupted in applause, and Naamah felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She understood that the change she had envisioned was becoming a reality, not just within the walls of the palace, but in the hearts of the people. The storytelling festival had ignited a spark of hope, inspiring individuals to embrace their identities and work collaboratively toward a brighter future. In the days that followed, Naamah and Solomon continued to champion initiatives that promoted inclusivity and social justice. They recognized that the challenges they faced were ongoing, but the momentum generated by the festival fueled their determination. The kingdom began to thrive as individuals came together to support one another, fostering a culture of collaboration and empathy. As time passed, Naamah understood that her legacy would extend far beyond her lifetime. She dedicated herself to mentoring young leaders, sharing her experiences, and guiding them to embrace their identities. Through her stories, she instilled a sense of purpose in those who would carry the torch of leadership. Naamah often gathered with young women and men from different backgrounds, encouraging them to share their visions for the future. She created a safe space where they could express their dreams and aspirations without fear of judgment. Naamah believed that the next generation held the key to a brighter future, and she was committed to empowering them to rise. During one of these gatherings, a young girl with bright eyes spoke passionately about her desire to become a healer. "I want to help my people, just like you, Naamah," she said, her voice filled with determination. Naamah felt a surge of pride as she listened to the girl's aspirations, recognizing the potential that lay within her. "Your dreams are powerful," Naamah replied, her heart swelling with admiration. "You have the ability to make a difference in the lives of others. Remember that true leadership comes from the heart. Always lead with compassion and empathy." As the years went by, Naamah continued to share her wisdom with the young leaders she mentored. They would gather by the shimmering lake, where stories flowed freely and laughter echoed through the air. Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed the growth of these individuals, knowing that they would carry forward the values she had instilled in them. Through her mentorship, Naamah's legacy grew stronger. The young leaders began to implement initiatives that promoted inclusivity and social justice throughout the kingdom. They organized community events, facilitated dialogues, and advocated for the rights of marginalized voices. Naamah felt a sense of pride as she watched them flourish, knowing that her teachings had taken root. As Naamah reflected on her journey, she understood that her legacy was not solely defined by her role as queen, but by the connections she had fostered and the lives she had touched. She recognized that the true essence of leadership lay in empowering others to shine, to embrace their identities, and to make a difference in their communities. As Naamah aged, she often gathered children around her, eager to share her tales of bravery and wisdom. Her stories resonated with the young ones, igniting their imaginations and inspiring them to dream big. Naamah understood that nurturing the next generation was essential for the future of their kingdom. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, Naamah sat beneath the ancient olive tree, surrounded by a group of eager children. Their wide eyes sparkled with anticipation as they settled in to listen. Naamah began to weave a tale of a young girl who had faced adversity but had triumphed through courage and determination. As she spoke, the children leaned closer, captivated by the unfolding adventure. They laughed at the girl's cleverness and cried when she faced challenges. Naamah felt a sense of joy as she witnessed their reactions, knowing that her stories were planting seeds of resilience in their hearts. When the story concluded, Naamah encouraged the children to share their own dreams and aspirations. One boy raised his hand, his voice trembling with excitement. "I want to be a warrior and protect our kingdom," he declared, his eyes shining with determination. Naamah smiled warmly at him. "You can be a warrior in many ways, my dear. Strength comes not only from fighting, but from standing up for what is right and protecting those who cannot protect themselves." She encouraged the children to embrace their unique paths, reminding them that every contribution mattered. Through these gatherings, Naamah fostered a sense of community among the children. They began to form bonds, supporting one another in their dreams and aspirations. Naamah understood that by nurturing their connection, she was empowering the next generation to become leaders in their own right. As the years passed, the children grew into young adults, each carrying with them the lessons they had learned from Naamah. They took on roles in their communities, advocating for justice and compassion. Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed their growth, knowing that her teachings had taken root. In her later years, Naamah often reflected on her journey. She understood that life was a tapestry woven with experiences, each thread representing a lesson learned. The challenges she had faced had shaped her into the woman she had become, and she was grateful for every moment. Sitting by the shimmering lake, Naamah would close her eyes and recall the memories that had defined her. She remembered the joy of her marriage to Solomon, the birth of her son, and the trials they had overcome together. Each experience had contributed to her understanding of love, resilience, and leadership. As she reflected on her legacy, Naamah felt a sense of peace wash over her. She knew that the values she had instilled in her son and the young leaders she had mentored would endure. The kingdom had flourished, not only because of her efforts, but because of the collective strength of its people. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Naamah gathered her family around her. She shared her reflections, expressing her gratitude for the love and support they had provided throughout her journey. "Our strength lies in our unity," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "Together we have built a kingdom rooted in compassion and understanding." Her family listened intently, their hearts swelling with pride as they absorbed her words. Naamah understood that her legacy was not just her own. It was a shared journey that had brought them all together. As Naamah aged, the whispers of the past grew louder. She recognized that history held valuable lessons for the future. With each story she shared, she reminded her listeners of the importance of learning from the past. The tales of resilience and courage became guiding principles for future generations, instilling a sense of responsibility in them. Naamah organized gatherings where individuals could come together to reflect on their shared history. They would sit around the fire, sharing stories of their ancestors and the struggles they had faced. Naamah understood that by honoring the past, they could build a stronger foundation for the future. During one gathering, an elder spoke of the time when their ancestors had united to overcome a great challenge. The tale resonated with the audience, and Naamah felt a surge of pride as she witnessed the impact of their shared history. It was a reminder that they were part of something greater than themselves, a legacy that connected them across generations. Naamah encouraged her listeners to carry the lessons of the past with them. She believed that understanding their history would empower them to navigate the complexities of the present and future. Through storytelling, they could bridge the gaps of understanding and foster empathy among diverse communities. As the gatherings continued, Naamah noticed a shift in the atmosphere. People began to engage in conversations about their shared experiences, exploring ways to collaborate for the betterment of their kingdom. The whispers of the past became a guiding force, inspiring individuals to embrace their identities while recognizing the strength of their collective heritage. Though Naamah's story was not extensively documented in sacred texts, her silence spoke volumes. It highlighted the often overlooked contributions of women in history, reminding all that their strength and influence could be felt even when not explicitly acknowledged. Naamah's legacy encouraged a deeper exploration of untold stories that shaped their understanding of the past, emphasizing the importance of recognizing the voices that had been silenced. In her quiet moments, Naamah reflected on the women who had come before her. those who had fought for their rights, those who had nurtured their families, and those who had quietly shaped the course of history. She understood that their stories were woven into the fabric of their kingdom, and it was her duty to honor their legacy. Naamah began to organize gatherings that specifically focused on women's contributions to society. She invited women from all walks of life to share their stories, creating a space where their voices could be heard. The gatherings became a sanctuary of empowerment, where women could connect, share their experiences, and support one another. As the stories flowed, Naamah felt a sense of fulfillment. The strength of women was evident in every narrative, stories of resilience, courage, and love. Through these gatherings, Naamah amplified the voices that had long been silenced, ensuring that their contributions were recognized and celebrated. In the end, Naamah's journey taught the world that love and identity are intertwined. Embracing one's heritage could lead to a greater understanding of unity and compassion among diverse communities. Her spirit lived on in the hearts of those who remembered her wisdom, a guiding light for generations to come. Naamah understood that the lessons learned from her journey were not just for her. They were meant to be shared. She continued to mentor young leaders, encouraging them to embrace their identities and advocate for justice. The legacy she had built was not only about her own story, but about the collective journey of her people. As Naamah looked out over the kingdom she had helped shape, she felt a sense of peace. She had dedicated her life to fostering connections, empowering others, and championing the values of compassion and understanding. The love she had shared with Solomon, her son Rehoboam, and the people of Ammon would endure, lighting the way for future generations. Naamah's story became a cherished legacy, reminding all that the whispers of the past can guide the future. She had woven a tapestry of love, resilience, and unity that would continue to inspire others for years to come. Her heart swelled with pride as she recognized that her life had been a testament to the power of connection and the strength of the human spirit. Join us in celebrating the legacy of Naamah by sharing your story and fostering connections in your community. Empower others through mentorship, advocate for social justice, and create spaces where diverse voices can be heard. Together, let's weave a tapestry of love and resilience that inspires change. Get involved today. Your voice matters.